People are afraid, they are petrified. It have them lock up in a them house, them don't want to go outside. All of the clubs and pubs locked down, I can't even dance to my champion sound, but I stay strong. Ready for self-isolation, Sean. Now we under attack, drones from out of space. So if you're going out, put gloves on, put a mask over your face. Me all I wrap up my dreadlocks and bring my cleansing cream with me. Maintain a good personal hygiene and stay 3 meters away from me. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Were you the one who tried to make me lay down and die? You think I'd grumble? You think I'd lay down and cry? I will survive. I will survive. Just as long as I know how to live, I know I'll stay alive. Clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my Silk Bang, Domestos and my P-Rum by my side. Hope and pray the NHS don't fall apart. Big up the doctors and the nurses, we keep them in our thoughts. All those hours that them working just to keep people alive. Maximum respect due to all of you. My heart is full of pride. Now you see me say respect you. I'm not that selfish person in that supermarket queue. So if you feel like pushing past vulnerable people and I see all that anger that's inside, you don't want to upset me. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Were you the one who tried to hurt me with your lies? You think I'd grumble? You think I'd lay down and cry? Oh no, not I will survive, yeah. As long as I know how to live, I know I will survive. People, clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my Silk Bang, Domestos and my P-Rum by my side. So if just like me, you have lost good friends, and you don't know if it's corona or government and murder them, hello? One thing I know, just make sure you not end up in a hospital. Me nah go make no doctor joke me nah take no vaccination. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. People, clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my Silk Bang, Domestos and my P-Rum by my side. Now they say that domestic abuse is on the increase because of all them dirty liars and them bedroom cheats. Through lockdown, them can't sneak out, and their lover is all alone. So they keep texting, sending messages to your mobile phone. Your partner find out, and them get vexed. Them sip your naked picture, worse than that. Them read them intimate text. Oh, but just like Shaggy, you tell them no, it wasn't me. No, you see all this corona causing pure misery. So she say go sleep on the floor. As far as she's concerned, you're not gonna get her zoom anymore. She treat you good, she treat you like a king and a man. And just because you couldn't keep your little something in your pants, so I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Were you the one who tried to make me lay down and die? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? No, to all those shopkeepers who are going to thief. What was £1.99 is £3.45 this week. Oh, now let me send out a little warning to all of them. I will send for all my friends, thief out your things and share with them. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my Silk Bang, Domestos and my P-Rum by my side. I will survive, I will survive, yeah. As long as I know how to live, I know I'll stay alive. Hey, clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my silicone, domestics and my serum by my side, so I say go.
This is a friendly fire production.
Good night. Welcome to another episode of My Perspective. Yes, another episode of the week has passed, and so much has happened for the last time on my show. You know, just that, you know, we got to talk. We got to keep talking, my brothers and sisters. You know, we got to vent, express ourselves in terms of everything that's happening around us. You know, that I said in my before even my show tonight, I posted that tonight will be social justice I'm discussing, and especially to even with, you know, the case with George Floyd. Yes, they would have already handed down, and I want to express myself on that. And also the other issue too, to where we had you know, in Jamaica, where we have, you know, Jamaican Parliament discussing it, and there's something about the Prime Minister while saying something. So those are things I want to discuss. And in sports, we're going to look at Europe. They will attempt to form a Super League, and also you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about track and field. But before I even start, I just want to say that I want to thank once again Miss Grace Ann Johnson, who came on show last week, life coach. I forgot to ask her for a phone number. Yes, a phone number if you want to contact her in case you want to get some life coaching from her. And remember that there's something coming up in May, an event coming up in May for her in terms of she having a life coach seminar. Yes, a life coach seminar. I'll get the information. She promised to get me a one ticket for one of my viewers. So, you know, but this is our number. If you take this number down, if you want to really reach out to her to assist in life, because we all need some help sometime in our life. You know, we can't be too old or too young to ask for help. And the most important thing that, you know, she's available to give you some life coaching to help you make good choices, make good decisions on behalf of yourself, maybe on behalf of yourself and family, or on behalf of yourself and friends, you know, because it's journey of life, boy. Sometimes it can show you so much curveballs, a lot of curveballs at times. I mean, sometimes we make bad decisions or bad choices, and although we make good decisions too, but we need to be sounding and level-minded and all that in making decisions. So once again, it's Grace Ann Johnson, life coach. Our number 914-333-7858. Once again, the life coach, Grace Ann Johnson number for contact 914-333-7858. And remember, she has got a website. It's G.A. Johnson at mysecretplace.com. Yes. J.A. Johnson at mysecretplace.com. And just reach out to her if you're interested in being, you know, a life coach. I tell a friend who, you know, sometimes people need someone that assists them in their life. You can recommend them, you know, that too. But, you know, as I said, tonight is all about social justice. And to be honest, I was grappling with it, even when the result, when the verdict came down for George Floyd. But I had to seek help because, as I said, sometimes you alone can't give the true meaning of what this verdict means. And so I was able to call on my brother, Dwight Geddes. He's always that person who's always deep involved in the social justice. That he's always one who's post videos. Even the shooting of a 13-year-old the other day, he was the one who highlighted it. And I asked him to come on the show with me tonight because I believe that my voice alone is not sufficient. You know, so I'm going to bring in my brother from another mother, Mr. Dwight Geddes, you know, and I hope he is ready.
Yes, sir.
My brother from another mother, how are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm good. How are you doing, brother?
Good, man. Pleasure to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you know, I remember I called you and I expressed my whole thoughts about, you know, this the social justice, and then the verdict for Floyd George came, and I just felt that I couldn't really say much because I had to share with other my thoughts. I want to hear from your perspective about this case. So I really invite you to give your perspective on what this means going forward for not from blacks, but for America itself alone. So let's jump right into it. Oh, and remember, we're going to talk a little bit sports. I know that you're prepared. I know you're man, and all that. So let's jump into the meat of the matter. Floyd George case, the verdict. What are your real thoughts about it?
Well, I got to tell you, I was hopeful before the verdict came out.
Right.
I'm glad with the verdict because that is the way the system is supposed to work on paper. You have clear evidence of a crime being committed. You have eyewitness testimony. You have testimony from other officials.
Right.
And the testimony says, no, what this guy did was wrong.
Right.
And I'm glad that the jury realized that this is not what is supposed to be done and reached that decision. It doesn't bring back George Floyd.
No, never.
It doesn't change the whole issue of over policing in our communities, which is a major issue.
Yes.
But this is a start, and it needs to happen more often. When there's no job in this country that you're immune from consequences, punishment when you do the wrong thing. There is no job. And being a police officer should not definitely ever be that job where you're immune from consequences, period. There are consequences to doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And that job, if you tell me as a police officer that you're supposed to be respected more because of the badge and what comes along with the badge, right?
Right.
You need to also show that same respect for that uniform and that badge. And too many times a lot of these officers don't show that respect for themselves, for the badge, for what it represents, for that uniform, and they get away with it.
Yes.
When I remember this incident, when I first saw it,
right,
there's two things that struck me, and it came back to me again yesterday after the verdict. The first thing was a smirk on that guy's face when he was kneeling on the man's neck, as if he's saying, what you gonna do? That was the first thing. You watch the video, you see it. He's kneeling on his neck.
Yes, the smirk on his face. Yes.
The second thing is the original police report of what happened. Did you ever read that original police report?
I did briefly, to be honest.
Let me tell you what the original police report. This is what was filed by the police. Now, this is before anybody knew that there was a video, because the video that we see is bystanders took that.
Yes, sir.
Not the police, not body cam. The official police report said on Monday evening, shortly after 8 p.m., officers from Minneapolis Police Department responded. They gave the location to report of a forgery in progress. They were advised the suspect was sitting on a car and appeared to be under the influence. 2 officers arrived and located the suspect, a male believed to be in his 40s, in his car. He was ordered to step from his car. After he got out, he physically resisted officers. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs and noted he appeared to be suffering medical distress.
Wow.
Officers called for an ambulance. He was transported to the hospital where he died a short time later. Okay? No weapons of any type were by anyone involved in this incident. This is what they reported as what happened. Not that the guy didn't resist. They had him in handcuffs. They threw him on the ground. They kneeled on his neck. He was already dead before the ambulance got there. And when the ambulance got there and tried to help him, they pushed the ambulance crew away. None of that was in the report. So we would have read this report only if there were no eyewitnesses there. We would have read this report and it would have been a whole different story than what we saw.
But Dwight, isn't that is that regular, I could say, a standard reporting for police writing?
Common assault. I mean, this is the kind of thing they do all the time. This by itself, that report is a false report that they're filing.
Yes.
That by itself is reason for firing them or suspending them. On its face. Nothing else. Just that report is reason for suspending or firing them. Okay? But we see this happen too often.
It's not too often, every day.
Where there are no consequences. And that's what has to change. There has to be consequences. He needs to go to jail for a very long time. The other officers that were with him need to go to jail for a very long time.
Right.
And every time this happens, there has to be consequences. You want change? There has to be consequences.
You know, Dwight, I went to sound like emotional, and when last night when they did the verdict was given out, and I started to have flashbacks, serious flashbacks. And when they started playing those videos again, when it's this white dude kneeling in our brother's neck, and then having his hand in his pocket, to give more pressure.
Yeah.
And he looked, and he had his glasses on his face, his darker in his face, smirking.
Yeah.
And like he's giving this posture of saying, "I am the man.
What am I gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What can you do?"
Yeah.
And my brother, right now I'm feeling a little teary in my eyes. I'm being honest. I don't know why. Because how can another human being, no matter if you have the power of law in your hands, treat another human being like that?
Well, listen, there are plenty of good cops. There are plenty of bad cops.
But my brother,
and this one was a bad cop. And the bottom line is that they need to be out. They need to get them out, period. Get them out. Take away the badge, take away the uniform, get them out.
But, and what strikes me now, and I might sound weird, but this cop now in the court, in all his suit, he's well tucked out. His face demeanor changes. His demeanor is totally changed without a uniform and his backing.
Yeah.
And when the verdicts are ready, you could see his expression change that, really, what have I done? I am going to face prison time.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this too regarding that. The judge came out recently and criticized comments that Congresswoman Maxine Waters from Los Angeles, California made. And he complained about comments that she made saying that we need to stay in the streets. Okay, among other things. And it's funny because I'm saying to myself, you need to worry about your courtroom and stop worrying about what the Congresswoman is saying.
Yes.
She has a right to say what she wants to say.
Yeah.
Listen, my tolerance these days for any type of pushback from some people is very low because we sat through 4 years of the former president where all these people were very quiet, supporting, and had none to say with all of the egregious, disgusting things that were said and done under the previous administration. Don't come now and talk about, well, you can't be saying that. No, we can be saying it. And if you had no problem with what was said before over the last 4 years, don't have fix your face because we're here now and we're gonna talk.
But we got our voices. We have
exactly. Deal with it. If you were okay with what the previous administration and those people had to say and do, don't talk now. Because we're gonna talk now and we're gonna do things now.
Yes.
Get over it.
Yes, and we're entitled to talk.
Yeah.
Over 400 years.
But I'm concerned because sentencing is coming up. And he has a lot of discretion, that judge. And I just have a feeling he's going to try to do something slick. just based on those
Less
comments he
than
made.
20 years, 25 years.
Well, the minimum sentence, not the minimum, but the sentence usually about 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutors said they want more than 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what he does. I wouldn't be surprised if him try to make it less.
You know, my take on this, the evidence and his own police force going and evidence presented. To be honest, if I was that cop, in my own way, I'd take a plea deal.
There was no plea deal. There was no plea deal for him. There was no plea deal for him.
Really?
You when you have something like this,
mm-hmm.
there is nothing that can be said or done
mm-hmm.
that is going to satisfy people outside of a jury decision.
Mm.
You understand? Unless he pleaded guilty to all charges,
yes,
people are going to be upset.
Well, the victory has been won yesterday when everyone is celebrating.
And it's not a victory, but it's a good step because, at the end of the day, George Floyd should be here right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Not dead. He's dead.
Yeah.
This is a good step. The other officers need to also be convicted. They need to go to jail.
For accessory.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, these things, when they happen, they need to be dealt with.
But my brother, I agree 100%. But, my thing is this. Will this bring real changes for the police force and systematic racism in this country? These are real questions I'm struggling and battering. Will this verdict make that change? I know you say
verdict.
Listen, I want more than test, brothers. I want more. I want to see. I want to feel it.
This verdict by itself is not going to do that. This verdict by itself can't do that. But this verdict is a step. It's something to build on.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember,
yes,
the Minnesota Attorney General stepped in after the video came out and said, no, we need to look at this, and appointed a special prosecutor,
right,
to examine this.
Right.
He didn't want the regular prosecutor looking at it.
Right.
He appointed a special prosecutor to look at it, the Minnesota Attorney General.
Right.
Okay? Because, again, remember, go back to that report that they filed. According to the report, this is business as usual.
Yes. Yes.
We did nothing wrong.
Right.
And that would have been the end of it if people never videotape it.
Wow. But question, what impact will this have on our lives as Black people going forward?
This by itself is not going to have an impact, but it's a step because let me say this. I every time I talk to a group of Black and brown, I always say the same thing. When you're called to court for jury duty,
yes,
shut up and show up. Don't complain. Don't give excuses. Show up. Because when you don't show up, rest assured, other people are going to show up.
That's
other
true.
people who don't think like you, look like you, and do not have the best interests at heart for people like you. And they're making decisions that will affect you. If not now, down the road. So go to court. When you call for jury duty, go to court. Serve on the jury. Let your voice be heard. It's not just about voting for president. It's about voting for local judges, for state officials, for local officials, going to jury duty. Be a part of the civic process, okay? Because when you're a part of the civic process, that's how you make changes. That means you get things done in your community.
Yes.
And if you don't like the way the police are behaving, responding, or not responding in your community, you call your local officials and say, this is a problem. You understand? That's how you affect change. That's how you affect change.
That being a part of the civil process, whether in courts, wherever, community meetings, being a part of the process.
Yeah. Because you used the word before, systemic racism. It's a system. You don't destroy a system with one single blow.
Right. You
have to break it down. And that's what needs to be done.
So basically, we as black people have to be more part of the system.
Absolutely.
Because they have a saying, in order to make change, you got to be a part of the system yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be involved. And this is a message to all my Facebook family and friends and YouTubers that we as black people got to be more involved in civic duties, involved in whatever process. That's the only way we will break down this systematic racism and this social injustice in terms of police brutality against our own black community. And that's where we got to go. And a question for you, my brother. I hear the president make some comments about reforming. He said we must continue now. We can't stop. Do you think he'll be able to do that, make changes in terms of reforming police and all that, making changes through giving more directives how police should do their duties and policies and guidelines? Do you think that the president's words will carry deep meaning?
Well, okay. Let me answer that by asking you a question. Do you think that in 4 years you can undo 200-300 years of behavior?
No.
Okay. There you go. It takes time, but it takes time by being relentless and pushing. It may not be a year or 2 years, 4 years, it may be 10 years.
Right.
But you keep pushing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wrote an article and posted it online a while ago about defunding the police and what defunding the police means. And I reference, hearing the guy who was basically the DA for Ferguson, Missouri, where Black Lives Matter start.
Right.
Him talking about the riots and everything else and saying, well, they were just making noise or whatever. Very condescending comment that he made. And he also talked about the Ferguson police force, which was, I believe, 58 police officers in the entire town of Ferguson. 58.
Right.
Which is approximately a third of the amount of police that you see in any precinct in New York. Any precinct. Pick anyone.
Right. That's true.
58 for the whole town of Ferguson, right? And they had $10 million in military surplus. They had armored vehicles, tactical gear, assault rifle. Why does a police force of 58 officers? By the way, I think one or two of them were minorities. That's it.
Wow.
They're not from Ferguson, but they're working in Ferguson.
Right.
Ferguson is mostly black. Mostly white police. Why do they have assault rifles and armored vehicles for 58 officers? They have all this extra money. Why aren't they putting that money back into Ferguson?
The community, yeah.
Why are they buying toys for cops?
Is that they expecting some revolution, anarchism from the black community? Is that what they're saying? So if they have to be prepared to destroy people's lives?
I don't know.
Black lives matters,
I know, but I'm saying, like, why do they need this? Why do they need this? Because you know what? Police departments here in New York don't have that stuff. Okay? Why do they need it?
Systematic racism. That's
time. You got to keep pushing. And there's a woman right now in Congress, Cori Bush. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
Yeah, I heard about her.
Congresswoman from Missouri. She was part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And she is now a congresswoman representing Missouri. Okay?
Beautiful.
Okay, black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is what instances like this generate. You get people involved. You get people who want to make the change.
Yes.
And they go about seeking to be that change. So
the road is going to be a winding and long road for changes.
But you know what? But it's all right. Did you remember what Butcher said? Not an easy road.
Never easy road.
That's it.
Another old Negro song says, you know, we shall overcome. Yes. We shall overcome. One day, my brother.
I like the Butcher version better.
You like yeah, Butcher, you know, God, Butcher is on an easy road. Well, you know,
Yes.
I'm trying it, brother.
That's it.
You know, but it is so wonderful that we can have a discussion about it. And I just say the bottom line, we gotta keep pushing.
Yeah.
We gotta get involved civic. We gotta make sure we're involved civically in terms of community and all that. We gotta get part of the process in the courts. Wherever we can go, we got to be able, we gotta make our voices heard.
I agree. I agree, yes.
And if we don't make that, then we always going to see these marches, these businesses.
That's how you get change.
They're not going to change.
Yeah, that's how you get change.
And we can't depend on the politician alone because, once again, the president can't speak now, but how much he can really do in 4 years.
Well, like I said, it started local government, state government.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it goes all the way up.
Yep. Right.
County, local, county, state goes all the way up.
Right.
With
right.
people in positions of power who have your interest at heart.
But you gotta start somewhere, though. Are we going to start from? Should we start from the president, or should we start from local government side? Where should we start from?
I think you got to start from the ground up. You got to start from the ground up. You know, you don't have to be president. Listen, you know, look at Stacey Abrams in Georgia.
You start from the ground up.
She ran for governor, and they cheated her out of that election victory. Right? They cheated her. What did she do? She didn't sit around and cry about it. She went out and went to work.
Yes.
And got work done.
Right.
And helped to elect Biden.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So she was robbed, and she didn't want to see somebody else robbed. So she went out and did the necessary work.
Right. But one question, this verdict, what's the wider impact? I'm talking about the world impact of this verdict. Will this encourage other black people out of the UK who are Black Lives Matters to feel empowered to continue their fight against discrimination and racism? Do you feel that this verdict had that impact too around the world?
It has an impact. It does have an impact. It's it's symbolic for a lot of people.
Symbolic,
No matter what you will say about the United States,
right?
And I love the United States, and say what you will, our system works better than most other systems. It does. It's not perfect, but it works a whole lot better than most systems. You know, racism in England is there.
Yeah,
they may not talk about it the way we talk about it, but it's there. And you see it, and it shows up, and it's jarring when it happens, but it happens, and it happens everywhere around the world. But the difference is that, you know, you see a certain degree of mobility, upward mobility here in the US that you may not see in England and other places.
Right.
You have outlets for black people to make a lot of money and be successful in their professions.
Right.
And get to very high ranks that you don't necessarily see in UK and other places. So they can make changes because they're rising in the system. You don't see it in the UK like that. Do you think the UK will ever have a black prime minister?
Good question. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know if I'll see that in my lifetime.
Is there one in the UK who was any prominent black leaders in UK though?
No.
I've never seen.
No. Then again, 15 years ago, Barack Obama wasn't a prominent black leader, and he became president. But the point is that you don't really have that groundwork from the local level that you need.
Right.
So,
it's a real struggle of black people in the world. It's a real struggle that black people always have to be fighting to climb that ladder, and we got to keep fighting. We face so much atrocity, so much.
But remember something, as much as we talk about fighting, we grew up in a place where you have a lot of successful black people.
Yeah,
we know successful black people. Right?
By
whatever measure you use to determine success, we know successful black people. We can look back at people that we've met, interacted with, went to school with, and say, yeah, they're successful in what they do. Right. Okay. And they're black. So I've always believed that when we look at these flaws and these issues that we have, also remember and never let it go unsaid that we've also done a lot. Regardless of whatever obstacle, we still are going on and do a thing.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
And every time we get an opportunity for getting, we'll lead the field.
And we sometimes we break barriers and set new trends in terms of our success.
That's it.
Especially in sports. We do that a lot.
Yeah.
Our genetics give us the advantage edge in terms of our level of competitiveness and success.
Yeah.
And just like you said, my brother, I must congratulate you. I see an article where you're voted one of the black enterprise leaders or whatever.
Well, trying to do my part, bottom line.
But this is what the most part. You are trying and you're doing your part.
Yeah.
And that's what you have said earlier, that we all as black people must try to play our part.
Yeah.
Try to make our own. And,
yes,
I was going to diverse 1 minute. You doing your articles and spring. Me personally, my satisfaction is helping my people, my own people.
Yes.
And even last week, I felt gratitude and happiness that I was able to assist a brother of mine to get a job. You understand what I'm saying? And I help other people to get jobs. And that is and I'm not looking no accolades. I just want to make sure I'm helping my people as much as possible. Yeah. And this is what sometimes our people don't understand. People who have reached a level of success, they don't want to help no one down. They just think about themselves and their family. No. We have to start being involved civic-wise. Try to help our own people elevate.
I think one of the things we need to dash away and don't keep referring to is this idea that people pull themselves up by them bootstraps. Everybody had help.
Yes.
Every single person that has ever been successful in anything had help.
Yes.
If you didn't have help directly, you had help indirectly because you were in a position to do what you're doing because of the work that other people did before you.
Yes.
So everybody had help.
Yes.
There's no such thing as, well, I did this by myself. Nobody never helped me. Nah, you had help.
Yes.
You may not want to admit it, but you had help.
Yeah, because no matter what in life, we all need that help to move the ladder.
Yes.
And I give this chance to all my Facebook family. Just help one person in one amount just to help one person in your life.
Yes, sir.
Because that person you help, it will mean a lot to them.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen so much time in my life. And that one person turning around and help other people down the road. And this is how we help our own brothers and sisters to move up the ladder.
Yep.
And this is what we need to do. So I know we're running out of time. Is so my brother. We got more time.
I know.
It's 8:39. It's like when we talk, we start to get get all of. But listen, the bottom line is the main point of our discussion in social justice that we got to get involved civic wise.
Yes,
we got to make sure we do our part. Be involved, my brothers. You understand me? Be involved, my brothers and sisters. Don't shy away from the system. Don't be afraid. And help your brothers and sisters to reach their level of actualization. Whether they're not educated or not, but help someone. Help someone. Pull a brother with you. Pull a sister with you. Come.
Yeah.
And let us see how best we can build a resilient, black and strong community so that we don't face these atrocities or these abuse. As I said, it's going to take time, but we have to do our part. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all.
Oh, boy. But let's move on. I didn't know we're talking about Jamaica. You know, Jamaica I've been crying for the past couple of weeks that women of Jamaica have been abused, been killed, been treated in such a way, especially being nowadays, I feel a woman being killed in Jamaica. And I said this, that we need the women this is my view, my perspective, that the Jamaican women need to take to the streets and march in thousands and hundreds, thousands, and send a signal. And last week, I had my life coach, Miss Grace Jones, she said that the women of Jamaica must know their self-worth. And that's a big part of the problem, she was saying. The women don't know their self-worth. And I see an article where Miss Honest, and she made a comment that crime has to be solved from the root. And other Jamaican people start taking her on like, oh, what about the women? But she's just making a general point that the crime has to be solved from the root. But my take is this, and I want to hear your views. How best you think the Jamaican women should approach this, these barbaric, these snakes who are hurting and killing them? Give me your, I might sound a little harsh, but give me your views, my brother. Because we need our views of men who understand that a woman life is important as just as a man. Let's hear your take.
No, okay. I had an issue with Miss Wellness's comments because I heard her speak and I'm thinking to myself, this was like the same idiot, the US was all lives matter. All violence matters.
Right.
It's not gender violence, it's all violence. That's a stupid thing to say. We're talking about gender violence right now. So
right.
Stick to all violence. Keep the all violence thing over there. So we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this. So that was a very poor choice of words on her part.
Right.
That being said, the biggest issue with Jamaica, the single biggest issue, and every problem that comes up and festers,
yes,
in Jamaica, it all boils down to one word.
One word?
One word. Corruption.
Corruption. Wow.
And I say this why? Because you can look at it and say, okay, accountability, law and order, lack of breakdown of the family structure, all of them things. Let me tell you why I said corruption. If you do something wrong, you should go to jail.
Yes.
You should be prosecuted and go to jail.
Right.
I don't care which part of the street you come from.
Right.
I don't care which neighborhood you live in.
Right.
If you break the law,
yes,
do something wrong, you should be arrested, you should go to court, you should be tried, and you should go to jail if guilty. Period.
Right.
Those are the steps. It's on the books. It's been on the books for hundreds of years.
Right.
Everybody know this. Everybody learn this. We now do it. So and so, don't go court, don't go jail. So and so, don't even get arrested. In a little community, the little man do a thing, we now go about,
Right.
And there's one sure thing in life. If you, as an individual, do things and do wrong things and are not punished for it, guess what you're gonna do?
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
There's no consequences.
Yeah, that's true.
Same thing with the police here.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep doing stuff and getting away with it, you're going to continue to do it.
And you know you're right 100% because Jamaicans, I thought Jamaicans, they don't love to write laws. They don't like to because guess what?
But they don't need to write laws because the laws are already written. Enforce them. It's not about writing them. It's about enforcing them. You have the laws.
Mm-hmm.
People commit crimes, arrest them, try them, lock them up.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people see that there's actual real consequences
yes,
for what I'm doing, and if your tendency to say, well, you know, the police are coming to the area and shoot up 10 people and kill them, that's not justice. That's not justice. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Lock them up. Lock them up. Arrest them, lock them up.
So you're saying it's corruption, then that's why police don't do them work? That's what you're saying? Or the police are undermanned? They need more.
I'm not blaming just the police. I'm not blaming just the police. They have a role to play. But it's not just them. You have to have accountability.
So you're saying from the top then, government.
Top to bottom. Bottom to top.
Go right down to the level of administrators and all of everybody have a role to play. Because even with the alleged this MP beating up this lady and the video circulating, he's been kicked out of the caucus because the police said no one on to report it. So therefore the video was not clear, which I saw, which was correct. So therefore the matter is closed. But the other thing they're saying is that they should have impeached him. And they don't have that thing in the parliament. So they're saying that there got to be some laws to really bring MPs before their own peers if they do things like this. And
impeaching for what though?
For physical abuse, alleged physical abuse.
Alleged.
Yeah.
Because no charges were filed.
No charges were filed.
Why were no charges filed?
Because both parties decided not to file no charges.
So if a man out there I beat you upside the head, right? Just play this out.
Hold on.
A man out the road that beat you upside the head.
Yeah.
And somebody come to you and say, why that not right to know? You all take a report and do something about it. And you said no. Why would you say no after somebody beat you upside the head?
That's a good question. What do you think? What do you think?
Remember that word that I used before? Corruption. No accountability.
Hold on, Dwight.
No accountability.
Hold on. Stick a pin right there. Hold on. This argument is we got 12 minutes to go. But listen, you are saying if I saw this video, where this woman I beat this man, and let him with a piece of board.
Yes.
And you're saying the police might go to him and say, do you want me to give a statement? And him say no. You're saying
not him. He wasn't the one getting beat upside the head. But you go to the victim.
Yes. The victim I'm talking about. The victim was the man. If you saw the video, the victim was the man. The man clapped out even 2 pieces of gun in the head.
Yes.
He's the victim. So you're saying if it got him out, he don't want to give us. You're saying that the victim is corrupted. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that them probably figure that nothing is going to happen. Even if I make a report, then it will probably only make things worse.
Worse in terms of what? Worse in terms of what? I need to understand. Worse in terms of what you're saying. Is that you're saying that it's not going to go nowhere, as Jamaican people say?
Yeah.
There's no ramification in terms of any lawsuit or any lockup or anything. That's what you're saying?
Has anything happened? What has happened since that video came out?
I haven't heard anything.
Nothing. Life goes on.
So therefore, you're saying it's accepted norm that people will get abused and be abused. Women especially.
And why is it accepted?
Eh?
Why is it accepted?
Because
nothing is going to happen. There is no accountability.
So therefore, once again, Comes from the head. The government I will set this trend down to the police force. Take all case of assault seriously. Bring them to the courts. Make the court decide what's the best resolution for incidents of any form of assault against a woman or a man.
Yeah, an example. You follow the NFL?
Yes.
Remember the Ray Rice incident?
Oh, yes.
Okay. No, remember, him knocked that woman out one punch.
One in the elevator. Wow.
One punch.
Wow.
Drag her out like him take out garbage.
Wow.
Okay. And the police never did nothing. Nothing happened until TMZ, I think it was.
Who brought the video?
Got the video and aired the video. Then all of a sudden, everybody started explaining themselves. Starting with the police. Because they knew about this and nothing happened.
Is it that?
Hold on. The woman in the video didn't want to do anything about it.
Why?
And it didn't matter. No, hold on. It didn't matter whether she wanted to, because once that video came out, it is out of everybody's hands right now. The NFL stepped in and said, "You are suspended." You know, he never worked in the NFL again.
Yeah, I know that.
To this day.
Yeah.
No capacity, no job on the field or off the field.
He's blacklisted.
Exactly. And not one charge was filed. She didn't want charges because this is the breadwinner of the family. Maybe she don't want, if he gets locked up, what's she going to do, right?
Right.
So I understand that thinking, but guess what? The law said that no matter. The law should have stepped in, and because the law never stepped in, the employer stepped in and said, this can't go so. We see that video. This can't go so.
Right.
So now, fast forward now back to Jamaica. Something happened. A man beat a woman. It's on tape or whatever. Just a hypothetical example. What's going to happen? If it's a big man, nothing going to happen.
Right.
Why? Because everybody knows it will not go anywhere. Report it to the police? Okay. Broadcast a video? Okay. Where are the consequences?
Wow. So therefore, the level of accountability in Jamaica is very lacking. That's what you're saying then.
That's the problem.
And therefore, the level of accountability, if it's lacking, it's coming from the government. Straight down to the force. Straight down to other administrators.
To the man in the street. To the man in the street. Everybody has a role to play. Everyone has a role to play.
Good night, Raymond Stevenson. Steven, big up yourself, my boss. Mr. Duke, my beacon, I saw your comment. Dwight, this thing in social justice women, but how do we, you know what? You answer the question. Accountability has to step up. And therefore, well, how do we set the level of accountability? Is it that the government has to set the trend, filter down to the force, to the general public? How do we?
You have to start lock people up. You have to start lock people up. You have to make examples of people.
And if they break the law, they should face the full blunt of their consequences. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. That's what has to happen. It has to happen. Listen, as an example, I like Cartel, right?
Yeah.
How much records man come out from lockup?
Couple hundred same way.
Okay. Why? The man is in prison. Why is he coming out in music still? Remember when Mike Tyson got locked up for rape the girl?
Yes.
Okay. What was the one thing Mike Tyson could not do when he was in prison?
Tell the public, my boss.
Box. He got to do everything else except go box. Now, you know, say my boxing in the prison.
Right.
You can't box. You're not there for fun. You're there for prison.
Yes.
You know a box. Cartel is in prison. You not record nothing.
And you know what? You know even that too. Maybe him can't record, but he use other ways. Use a phone, make a phone call, bust a tune.
All right. So the first time that happened, okay, that shouldn't happen again. You understand?
Yeah.
You're in prison. I'm not joking this. When you go to prison, this was hear from you again until you come out.
That's true.
Minnesota, I see your name on music charts until you come out.
So the level of corruption and accountability is just too high in Jamaica. That's right. Yeah. And so these are the backlashes of where women now are being beaten, being killed because of the high level of corruption. And also that there's no accountability for people's actions. You know, the woman I beat the man with a stick in the downtown. The alleged MP. Alleged MP beat a woman, threw a gab, lick her with a chair. And I'm thinking upon the video. Woman throat being found slashed. Woman being shot. No accountability.
And we both see the videos.
Corruption.
We see the videos coming out of Jamaica, and you know it hurts every time you see it because you know that's you look on people that really figure say boy, them don't have a future. So them out there just do whatever. You understand? And it's a shame. It really is a shame. And I think there are things that should be done that could be done, but you're talking about drastic things that should and could be done.
Drastic things. That's all. Do I? You know, say, I got 3 minutes. How many people can? Brother.
I know.
You see, this is my perspective. I have a flow. I got a whatever. But when things like this happen, and I'm talking about it just takes our time and our energy.
Yes.
And you know, it seems like sometimes we're just scratching the surface, but we have to talk about it. And we got 3 minutes. I just want to touch on the point you was going to go about in terms of certain things that should be done drastically or things that should be changed to make our society a more cultured and a more loving and a more respected society for a Jamaican woman. Just give me some of the things you were about to say.
I think there needs to be some type of and this is gonna sound funny, but I would propose drafting young men and women into the military out of high school.
Drafting young women in the military after high school, would it be for time or for a period for just get some training?
For a period of time. To get some training. Some may continue if they would like to continue. Some will leave, but they will have a certain amount of training. Now, listen, they're not teaching the military just for what's going on. They might teach you actual life skills as well.
Yeah, right. That's right.
So,
right.
You know, so that would be a good step, I think. And like I said, it's a radical step, but I think it's something that it needs to be looked at, considered, and tried. Because whatever is being tried right now in our work.
Yeah, I've been for many decades now. Many decades.
Try the draft.
Serve 2 years, maybe 3 years in the military.
3 years, 4 years, yeah.
Because you got to get these young kids and young men productive. And we realize that the gangsters start from 13 and 14.
You go to college. You go to college or you get drafted. Right?
Right.
You're not going into the workforce. Okay, you're not ready for the workforce.
Because you don't have skill sets.
Exactly. At 15, 16 years old, you're not going into the workforce. We do what? No, man. You go into the military, go to college, go from there.
And what else do you recommend apart from the drafting the young kids from early for the military? Give them some training. What else would you recommend?
Listen, there's a few other things that I think we can do. I think that I don't believe in hanging. I hear people talking about hanging and execution and things. I don't necessarily believe in that. I also believe, like I said, one thing that has to be done. Any administration that comes into power in Jamaica, you make an example. You find, you have to look, okay? They're going to be there. You make an example of someone who think that they're above the law, and you put them
behind the bars
in the penitentiary.
With my brother.
Lock them up.
With my brother. On that note, I want to say thank you once again for coming apart and show my perspective. And I know that my listeners really appreciate your views and the George Floyd case and Jamaica issues. And we even touched certain things, but you know what? Sometimes we got to make things flow as it is.
Yeah, man.
And once again, I want to thank you for coming on short notice. And I really appreciate it. Appreciate you giving me your time. So have a good night, my brother.
You too.
We talk soon again. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy.
Yes, sir. So my Facebook family, that was my brother. Do I get it? Give his views on, the whole issue with the George Floyd verdict and all that, and Jamaica and certain things that we and a recap. He said that in America here, we got to be involved, do our civic duty, and we also agree that it's going to take some time, but we got to help each other along the way. And he said with Jamaica issue, with the women and all that being abused and beaten and killed, there has to be some high level of accountability, and also a level of the reduction of corruption. And he says that it's got to start from the top, straight down to the bottom, to the force, to the man in the street. And one other thing is recommending, which maybe at a point can look into, and maybe there can be some incentives. I think I talked about it already, but that we get the young kids because not everyone for school. Give them some military training. Give them some military skill, although they're hard. But there must be some monetary. If you're not in school or not doing something productive, go to the army. Do 2 years. Get some training. Get some skills. Get some discipline. Yeah. It might, as I say, it might sound radical, but maybe that's one option we got to look at in Jamaica. And then again, they're going to be some constitutional debate, some constitutional thing contested by other people out there about their rights and all that. But something has to be done with the social breaking down of where our women are being physically and mentally abused and being killed. And once again, we just want to make sure that we can. I want the Jamaican one to voice their opinion. Voice, take the streets. That's my take. And then the parliament can do what they have to do. But in closing, I just want to remind you that my life coach friend, Ms. Grace and Johnson, contact number is 914-337858. And just remember, COVID still a go on. I got my shot Sunday. Yeah, I got Pfizer. I got one more shot. If you haven't gotten the vaccination, please go and take your vaccination. Don't be this macho or too egotistic or I'll talk about these things. Get your vaccine, because that vaccine you take will help save lives. And if you're not taking the vaccine, please remember, wear a mask, wash your hands, social distancing. And if you're not feeling well, please stay home. Remember, my perspective comes again next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. U.S. time, 7 p.m. Jamaica time. My favorite family, have a wonderful week. Take care of yourself. And I will see you next week for another episode of My Perspective, Hot Topics. One love. Peace out. Have a good night.